What's up, everybody? I hope you're all having a great day, evening, whatever time you're watching this. What you're looking at here is what I've dubbed the old Ford. Ye old Ford. You know what they say. The only good Ford is an old Ford. I don't know if that's true. I've never owned a Ford, in fact. But this here is, that would probably be the Pro Line body originally. A couple little extras in the way of stacks on the back, and I did make a drop-in bed for this, but it just kept coming out. There's no good way to glue it in when it comes to the amount of use this truck has seen. Now it does have a few good little upgrades on it. Original OG SCX10 chassis from Axial. Originally, when I got this truck, it did not have all metal links. Still a 3-link setup in the front. Brass links underneath. Brass links underneath. Some metal links up there. The only ones that length I had to fit. I realized the geometry of them looks a little different. And no, that is not a flat tire. That's just a really soft foam in the front, apparently. We've got, to really show you what has been done to this Ford so far, I'm gonna have to pull that body off there, and we'll get looking underneath at the chassis, the cantilever suspension mod, which is a 3D printed modification, and some of the other little add-ons here and there that make this truck actually a really capable truck for not being a heck of a lot done to it. Let's have a look. Before we go and rip the body off this thing and show you guys all about the chassis, I do want to say part of the reason you're here is probably about the 3D printed Honcho setup. Now, there's a truck called a Honcho. I'll try and throw up a picture of it here. And you'll see Nate has a Honcho. He came out for a run. His truck was in one of the videos. Looked really good. Performed really well. This truck, being that I can't do the drop-in bed in it anymore, I'm thinking it needs to go full Honcho. Which is where this guy comes in. Yeah, that's that 3D printed cage right there. It's not the traditional Axial Honcho. It's not going to have the flatbed yet. It might mod in the future. And notice though, watch this. Flexibility. I think that's going to work out better than using a solid plastic like a PLA or a PETG, which are two different plastic filaments you can use if you're unfamiliar with 3D printing. Kind of gives you a little rough idea what I meant by those. That is actually the TPU. It's a flexible 3D printing material. You can do tires, tracks, cages, except for this guy right here. That is a PLA Plus, which is a strong, pretty good plastic. It's the only piece that wouldn't print proper in TPU. So, that will end up going on here in good time. You're going to have to stay tuned for part 2. Right now, I'm just kind of introducing you to the truck that this is happening to and showing you some of the possibilities in the realm of 3D printing and RC. So here you are underneath the lid, underneath the shell. Don't mind me getting in my own light. It's probably going to happen. Powering the old Ford, we've just got a Axial AE5 3S capable. That 3S mounts right here. This gets the battery up front, but still behind the front axle, nice and probably as low as it's going to be mounted in here. That is a glow-backed, I think it was called, 35 turn 550 motor, brushed obviously, and I do believe it's either 13 or 14 tooth pinion. Don't need any more than that for the crawl. You've already seen the brass underneath. Notice that brass bumper mount here was actually supposed to be the rear bumper mount for the SCX-10 III. It wasn't nearly long enough to actually extend out to the back of the Gladiator. It's just such a big truck, right? Luckily, the Axial SCX-10 frames stick to the same width. So it just kind of fit in there nice and snug, in the front no less. Adding the proper front end weight it needed. Added some weight in a Yeti cooler box. Not bad, not bad. Another 3D print. So let's have a closer look at this cantilever suspension. Here's the action of it. And then at the front, right comes up. Squats down nicely. And you look at that, there's nothing above the frame here, allowing you to do extra stuff. It's great. And I do believe it is actually a better articulating setup than standard. If you're printing this yourself, you got to take the time to make a few mods. You'll go through 1 or 2 prints and realize what needs to be altered to make it how you want it, right? Like, nothing's ever 100% as accurate as you think it would be, but once you learn a little bit and you tweak a little bit, I had to make these short links underneath to connect down to the axle. Once you do that, you get her on there, you tune it in a little bit. That's great suspension. Amazing stuff. In regards to this, what would you call it, a TPU, PLA plus? In regards to this flexible cage, much better. I also must print these. These are mounts. Now, what I'm hoping is they're gonna have enough space to put them, because my guesstimate, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that they fit right in here in those little holes. See the corresponding ones on the other side. That has little cups in the top. I'll show you where they go in a minute. And then this guy here, and you can see he's rounded in the front. He's going to replace the existing bumper mount, which is just a pretty much standard 3D printed, no less, bumper mount. Spare. And those are what are going to help mount this cage. It almost looks like it makes it kind of a permanent mount, but we'll see once we get it on there. Will that be happening in this video? Most likely not. You're gonna have to stay tuned to part 2. I don't really have good enough equipment to film that whole setup for you guys. But let's check this out. Pick up the cage. We'll place it right there. You see how those will fit right in place. And this guy will sit right here, mounting the cage to the chassis. And then the cab will be able to just come off independently, is what I hope. Now, as well, this mounts directly to the cab. I don't know if I showed this before. It's better light orientation. See the roughness along here? From support structure that prints underneath to make sure these print right. Anyhow, these are your cab mounts. Also in the TPU rubber, so they should mount nicely. There it is. There's one. There's the other. And another one down here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to utilize it. Won't stop me from just taking and tapping a little new screw hole through here and figuring out some kind of thing for corresponding so I keep that distance away from the cab. You know, it's got to look nice. I'm hoping it's going to look nice. And then we'll figure out where these guys go after. But this roughly in place here looks like it's going to sit about like so. The back of the cab does come right to just behind that point. Yeah, you're gonna just have to stay tuned for part 2 to see how well this works out, if it works out at all. I've got some work to do, so make sure you're subscribed, stay tuned, get those notifications turned on so you can see how this turns out. Maybe it'll be like the final assembly video for part 2 and a run to see how it looks in action. This whole section of the bed, you're gonna be gone. This cage will be there in place. Will we mount a bed in there too, like a flat panel, make it a flat bed honcho? Who knows? Stay tuned. We'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, make sure if you're into this whole 3D print stuff, I'm gonna have some videos coming for you soon dealing with some of the other things RC related and non-RC related. You're gonna want to check them out. Have yourselves a good one.